back to my channel, Welshman Reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing James Wan's new movie, Malignant. So this film was directed by James Wan, who has done other horrors like The Conjuring Part 2, Insidious 2. He also done Fast and the Furious, it was either 5 or 6, I can't remember which one it was. And also did the DC movie Aquaman, which he is also directing the sequel to, which he's doing right now. So a little of the story. Madison is paralysed by shocking visions of grisly murders, and her torment worsens as she discovers that these waking dreams are in fact terrifying realities of a past she can't remember. So it's a very good story. Goes into it a little bit more than what I just said on the story, but I'm not going to go into it too much, because to go into it too much I think would be too much. You'd have to go into spoilers, and I don't want to go into spoilers in this review, because I really think you should watch it. And that it is. I will go into my positives and negatives, so I'll start off with the positives. So it's a nice unique story. Reminds me a bit like The Dark Half, and there's a film, I can't remember what it's called, I think it's Giallo or something like that, is it? Where someone can see through the killer's eyes when he's doing his murders. So it kind of reminded me of a couple like that, but it's a bit of a disjointed movie to start off with, but the third act, which is batshit crazy, really does cements the rest of the movie. So it, like, you get very confused in the first 2/3 of this movie. You don't know whether it's a haunted movie or it's a slasher movie, because it just seems to be both them in the beginning, first 2/3, but then by the time the third act comes, kind of spoon feeds you or what it is. But yeah, it spoon feeds you it, but it answers everything you want to know, and it makes you think, oh right, that's pretty good. It makes you want to watch the movie over again and to see parts where you're like, oh yeah, I understand that now. And all. It reminds me a bit of like The Prestige or Shutter Island, where you have that twist ending and you want to go back and see it again and all, and go, oh yeah, I understand. When you watch the movie again, then you'll be like, oh yeah, I see that now, I see that. So yeah, the story's really good. Like I said, the third act is absolutely crazy, like full on killing spree and all that. And when you find out the twist of the movie, and when you learn all that, yeah, very good indeed. Great direction as usual from James Wan. The cinematography is beautiful, very eerie in spots. I think that goes well with the setting of Seattle as the backdrop. It is. There's a few scenes where you're under the old Seattle, and then they built the new, and they talk about that a little bit and all that. That's a nice couple of few scenes. It is. But yeah, your usual James Wan, brilliant. His movies have a distinctive look, and the way the camera works, he works the camera and that. So yeah, excellent indeed. Some of the acting's alright. It's not amazing, but it's really good some of it's, the acting, I would say in the middle, so I won't put this as a positive or a negative. It's kind of in the middle. Annabelle Wallis, who plays Maddie or / Emily, the main character, she's really good, but she can be a bit cheesy with some of her lines of dialogue. I don't know whether that's just the dialogue or the way she's acting it out. It is her sister Sydney, who's played by Maddie Hanson. Is it Hanson or Henson? Or Hesson? Hasson, I think. Sorry. She's really good. She plays she does a good point of a supporting sister to Maddie's abused life and she helps, tries to help her out then in the movie. You have George Young, who plays Kikoa Shaw, and Michelle Brianna White as Regina Moss. They're the two investigators who are investigating the murders around this thing. They do a really good job. They're good together. I think that their chemistry is really good as partners in the police. Can be a bit comedy element in it with Michonne Brianna White's character. She brings a bit of the comedy aspect. It's like he's like some of the stuff they come out with, like she says she can see visions, Maddie can, and all of the killer. He's like wants to try and believe her, but she just, as a normal person, would just call her out and call her crazy and all that. But yeah, nothing amazing with the acting. I honestly think the acting in like Insidious and the Conjuring movies by James Wan is a lot better. It is, but I wouldn't say there's no bad acting and all. I think just some of the dialogue and some of the reading of the dialogue can come off a bit cheesy and a bit hammy and all that. So that's the middle part, so the positive middle part. I'll go into my negatives. I'll go for one more of the positive, because this goes into my negative as well, is the music. The music for this movie is amazing. It was done by Joseph Bishara, who also did a few of James Wan's other movies like Insidious and the Conjuring movies. I think he did all the Insidious movies. He's done a few other horrors and all that as well. But the music for this is something I'm definitely going to get when it's released. I think it's an amazing soundtrack. But it goes into a bit of my negative as well. Some of it just doesn't match some of the movie for me. I think the eerie parts of the music and all that fits the movie, I think, really well. But then you have some more, not upbeat, but more like guitar, drum, like stuff like more of that type of music comes into some scenes. There's like one where a woman falls from a ceiling and it's like Maddie's screaming and you get that big guitar, something like music coming on. I don't think it fits this movie that well in my eyes, but that's just my opinion. Like, I'm not saying anything wrong with it just doesn't suit the movie. But yeah, it's still a great soundtrack, and one you should listen to. I'll do the first 2/3 of this movie, and I shouldn't really say it as a negative because the third act kind of brings it all together. But the first 2/3 of this movie felt very disjointed for me. It starts off like big bang in your face, some kills and all that, some heavy music and all that. Then it kind of goes into more of a haunted feel, like The Conjuring or the Insidious, something like that. It does, and then it jumps straight into like a slasher type movie. It is. So it was like, and I honestly got the first 2/3. I was like, where's this movie going? What the hell is going on? But lucky enough, the third act brings it all together nicely. It does, and like not force feed, but spoon feeds you the explanation of how it's all happening. But yeah, it's only a slight negative and all that, because it is, for the first 2/3 of the movie, you are wondering where the hell this is going. My last negative is the ending scene, which I mentioned a bit earlier. It felt some scenes in this movie felt very cheesy, and especially the last scene of the movie, which I won't tell you about it, but it's very cheesy, and some of the dialogue is very cheesy, and unfortunately Amanda Wallace, her delivery of it feels a bit hammy and a bit cheesy and all that, so kind of took me out of it a tiny bit at the end of the movie. But that third act was so, like I said, batshit crazy. As one, I watch a few videos of other people who do reviews. Grace Randolph's one. She always says, you feel for the movie, like the movie makes you feel how the third act makes you feel. So I've gone out the movies loving a movie, but the third act, like Candyman, I would do an example, one of the last movies I watched in the cinema. Great movie, all the way up to the third act, which was very underwhelming, and it kind of drops you down a bit when you're leaving the cinema. This film, on the other hand, you're like so confused for most of it, like I said, 2/3, but the last thing makes you come out of the movie feeling higher. So that last, like I said, the last negative I said being a bit cheesy, that's just for more some scenes in the movie. But yeah, overall, I'll give this movie an 8 out of 10 easily. Might be a bit more if when I watch it again, because I definitely need to watch it again. It was like I said, it reminded me a bit like Shutter Island and The Prestige, when you get that twist and then you got to go back and watch it again. You realise parts of the movie and you're like, oh right, that's how it goes. But I will leave off on one positive I missed out on the thing, is some nice kills and some nice gore. This film is 18 over here in Britain and definitely warrants it and all that, which the gore's in it, and it has a little bit of domestic abuse in the beginning of the movie as well. It does, but the kills and the gore will satisfy any horror fan. You know, if you're like me, you like your horror, you like a bit of gore in your horrors, it suits this movie down to the bone. It's not just there just to be there. It's like you just see in some movies, it's there for a reason and all that. So, and the look of the killer is unique, and when you find out the twist at the end, I think it's very interesting. It's going to be, I've seen it being a diverse film, so not diverse film, but people either love it or hate it and they don't understand. But I thought the ending of this film made this movie one of James Wan's best. It's not personally my favourite of his. I would still class The Conjuring and Insidious as better movies, but it's up there. It's going to be up there, I think, as being one of my favourites of his and all that. If you like this review, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below and tell me what you thought about the movie if you're going to go and see it. And if you'd like to see more reviews like this, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye.